Welcome everybody to The World is a Mess, and I just want to Steampunk It, episode 33, August the 16th, 2021. I'm your host, Steampunk StarRaisin, and I'm here with my co-host, Daniel Bertison from Bellwood, Ontario, and I'm here in North Hollywood. So how's it going, Daniel?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm hanging in there. I'm just cleaning up my apartment right now. I got to get that done by tomorrow. And I've been editing my movie. The World is a Mess, and I just want to steampunk it. So yeah, I guess that's the first thing I'll talk about. I've submitted my movie to Sundance. I got a rough cut of it, but they allow you to re-upload the file. You can no longer send a DVD or Blu-ray anymore to Sundance. You have to send a streaming link. So you have to either host it on like YouTube, but luckily Film Freeway allows you to do free hosting under 10 gigabytes. So I've got a rough cut of the movie, but I want to do some more editing because they allow you to, before the film festival, you can always replace the video file and upload a better edited version or later revision of the movie. So yeah, I've directed and produced a documentary film called The World is a Mess, I Just Want to Steampunk It. I know it's the same name as the podcast, but yeah, it's basically about my me being an artist, struggling in LA, my life philosophy, et cetera, et cetera. There'll be a trailer released on the internet soon. So the few of you who listen to me on YouTube or listen to my podcast, please stay tuned for more news on that in the future. But yeah, so I just wanted to briefly cover that. The World is a Mess, and I Just Want to Steampunk It documentary film set to be released February of next year. Hopefully, if Sundance Film Festival approves the movie, it'll premiere at Sundance in January. But and then another thing I wanted to talk about was on August 31st, I'm going to be flying to Atlanta, Georgia, because I am going to be doing press at Dragoncon. I've got approved for press, and apparently they're going to have Dragoncon this year, even though they didn't have it last year. Last year they had a virtual convention, but that was terrible because the Discord link didn't work. It was broken. The majority of people couldn't even join, and it's not the same as going in person. I don't know what it's going to be like, especially with the Delta variant being resurgent. I know that international travel from most countries is banned in the United States. So it probably won't be any, it'll be sad. It'll be smaller. It won't be international attendees. Like I've met people from Japan, from England, from all over the world that have gone to that convention. And I was actually quite surprised that they didn't cancel DragonCon this year, because I know like Long Beach Comic Con was canceled this year. I know that San Diego Comic Con was canceled this year. So was E3 Expo. And so I'm looking forward to it. I've been vaccinated and I have my vaccination card, so I should have no problems. And that's about it. But yeah, I'll be going to that, and I will be hosting interviews from DragonCon. I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, that's cool.
And I guess the third thing that we should cover is the fall of Kabul, the capital of Afghanistan, happened on August the 15th. I know that the only area that the United States still controls is the airfield in Kabul, and they control the embassy, but they're evacuating embassy personnel. This is very chilling and haunting. It's reminiscent of the end of the Vietnam War, but I support Biden in the sense that I agree with Biden. The Afghans have to sort this out for themselves. The United States should not be a colonial power and try to occupy Afghanistan in the foreseeable future, because they've done it for 20 years and just wasted a bunch of money, and it's really gone nowhere. So apparently the Taliban have retaken control of the capital. Even though they only had 75,000 troops, the Taliban like blitzkrieged across the entire country. And I remember like a couple weeks ago, they were predicting that the Afghan government would fall within 90 days, but it fell within like a couple of weeks. And the problem is that the Afghan army, just like the South Vietnamese army, has low morale. And apparently, instead of trying to resist the Taliban, they just surrendered, and they surrendered all their equipment. The Taliban have been capturing tanks. I've seen the Taliban on TV roaming around in Humvees, U.S. captured Humvees. And so, yeah, the Afghan army, even though it was 300,000 and they outnumbered the Taliban army at 75,000, it was a paper tiger. And so I think the Afghanistan government still controls about 10% of Afghanistan, but they've lost control of the capital. I know that the Afghan president has evacuated the country. I know that the Uzbekistan and the border in the north has set up a tent city for refugees. But yeah, it's crazy. I was a little worried that Biden would cave in to war hawks and not leave Afghanistan, but I am glad that Biden is going on his campaign promise to leave Afghanistan, because it's just, Afghanistan is a mountainous country, and trying to occupy the country has not worked for the United States. And why is the United States even still there 20 years later? I mean, Osama bin Laden's dead. The majority of Al Qaeda have been killed. It's really ridiculous that we spent trillions of dollars on a 20-year war, or 20-year occupation. So maybe if the United States had invested on infrastructure, which they did not really, like building roads, building airfields, but they did very little of that. Maybe they could have captured the hearts and minds of Afghanistan citizens, but I think it's good that the United States is pulling out. I hope that all the embassy staff can get out without being hurt. But yeah, so this is breaking news, because it just happened just yesterday. You know, and it's amazing how low the morale of the Afghan army, and how much billions and billions of dollars the United States Defense Department and the Pentagon wasted on the Afghan army, and all that equipment ended up in the hands of the Taliban anyway. So, but yeah, so I wanted to at least, since this is a podcast from August 16th, and this is the day after that event, it's a pretty prominent news event. And I figure I would comment on it. So you have any comments about that, or Dragoncon, or my documentary film? What's your opinion on those three topics?
Like, what? I never knew this was happening in Afghanistan. Like, wow, that's just.
Well, you just got to watch the news.
Yeah, I guess I missed that.
Got to watch the news. I don't have cable TV, but I get, you know, I have a digital antenna, and I get, you know, there's digital broadcasts that's free.
Like, is that true when they say governments are imploding around the world? I heard someone say that.
It depends where you're talking about imploding.
Like, I don't know. I heard someone saying governments are imploding around the world, and this will lead to a new world order and stuff. And then, I know. I
don't know about that. I mean, I know Afghanistan, it's been a long time coming.
Look, I know some people say that this is going to lead to like the end of the world and stuff. Like they say,
Uh,
oh, new world order leads to
that's a bunch of BS. That's a bunch of
like
BS based on no evidence at all.
like they say it leads to Armageddon and stuff like that, and it's kind
I
of
don't
creepy.
I don't believe in Armageddon. I don't believe in that.
I know some people. I was talking to a guy yesterday, and he was like, "Oh, look what's happening around the world. There's flooding, global warming," and he was linking it all to like prophecy and stuff like that. It was really creeping me out.
Yeah, hold on a sec.
And I'm thinking, oh no. That's a nice apartment.
Oh, thanks.
I can't wait until I move into mine.
Well, I'm proud of you. When are you going to be moving in?
As soon as I can. I gotta talk to my psychologist, Miss Briney. She is setting me up. I just need to get out of here because it's just getting worse and worse. And I gotta be careful. They can call the police on me at any time, have me arrested for the stupidest things. I can't even look at them the wrong way. They're just like the fucking police.
Yeah.
Yesterday I was talking to my dad, and we were at the beach. I think I told you I went to the beach yesterday. It was me, my mom, and Coco. Me, my mom, my dad, and Coco. And I said, I was even telling my friend Marty yesterday, or not yesterday, but the day before, because my kitchen is being renovated. Well, it's not my kitchen; it's my family's kitchen. It's being renovated, and I was like, what kind of a world is this, where cops can harass civilians, but when civilians say, "Hey, you don't treat me that way,"
well,
they lose their mind. They lose their mind. They go crazy, and they can throw you in jail.
Well, I mean, it's just domestic situations are always complicated. It's not a cut and dry thing.
I mean, can't you see how corrupt this world is? It's getting corrupt more and more. It's so fucking horrible.
Well, in American society, there are definitely cracks forming in society. There's fractures, and things are not getting fixed, like the homeless crisis not getting fixed. The economic crisis, they just keep kicking the can down the road. They do rent moratorium, but they still got to pay back the rent. There's millions of people, I think 6 million people who are behind on their rent, like 6 months or more. And I think 40 million people are behind on their rent. Let me look that up. Number people behind on rent. Yes. Yeah, 11.5 million. So we're going to have, if we're not careful in the United States and continue to do nothing, we're going to have a housing crisis unlike we've ever seen in U.S. history. I know they claim that the homeless population in the United States is only about 600, 700,000, but it's probably much higher than that. They severely underestimate that. You get a lot of people here in LA living in their vehicles. Like over at Target where I go, there's at least like 2 vans and 4 RVs that are always parked there. But yeah, so I don't know what the future will bring. At times it seems kind of bleak because you got your Republicans, that's all they want to talk about is mask mandates and the vaccines, and they're willfully ignorant, and they don't want to actually talk about policies that make things better. And now we have the Delta variant, and you now have hundreds of people dying a day again. Every day there's at least 600-700 people a day dying. And we're already up to, let me check. Yeah, we're already up to 621,000. we're already up to 621,000 deaths. So we're getting pretty close to tying with the record of the Spanish flu pandemic, which killed 675,000 Americans. And we're already getting pretty close to the same number of fatalities that died during the American Civil War, because during the American Civil War, it was 625,000. But so I don't know. I do think that this country is going in the wrong direction. Biden is trying to do his best, but he's trying to negotiate with people who really have no interest in the best interest of this country, you know.
Who's he negotiating with?
Your so-called centrist Republicans in the Senate. Mm-hmm. But it's really kind of ridiculous because there are no real centrist Republicans. There's the right and there's the alt-right, and it's mostly taken over by the alt-right.
Oh.
So anything else on your mind?
I miss Obama, don't you?
He at least sounded good. He didn't really do much in the 8 years that he was president.
Yeah, because
Biden often sounds like he's having dementia problems. Trump, very authoritarian and very ignorant and very stupid. Very anti-intellectual. So, I mean, yeah, I think so far Obama was a better president than Trump, but that's a low bar. And Biden is a better president than Trump, but that again is a low bar. And the problem is that we need to be decisive with our problems in this country, or things will continue to get worse. And they have been for at least the last 40 years since Reagan.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Anyways,
anything else in entertainment news you want to talk about?
Oh, I've seen What If.
Yeah, I saw the first episode.
Really, really good episode. I loved it. Oh my God, it's so good. Like, okay, you know how when it begins.
Spoilers ahead, people. If you hadn't seen What If, but yeah. Steve Rogers basically became like a Iron Man.
Yeah, like he got into like a Hulkbuster suit, kind of.
Yeah, like a World War II version, a little bit more cruder version of his suit because it has 2 giant rockets on the back. But yeah.
And like, yeah, I like it how it was kind of a Star Trek explainer at the beginning. Like one decision can branch off into its own new reality, its own new history from that point, and that creates a bunch of infinite universes based on that universe. I like that. Really, really Star Trek sounding explanation. I just love it. And okay, so you know what happened, right? That caused a change. Peggy Carter decided to stay in the room instead of going upstairs. She decided to stay in the room, and the Nazi got nervous, and he started attacking the laboratory earlier. And remember, he took out like half of the laboratory.
Yeah.
And then Steve Rogers tried to stop him, but then he was shot.
Yeah.
And that's what caused Peggy Carter to take his place. So Steve Rogers was shot by the Nazi, but I'm thinking to myself, look, the skinny kid survived being shot. That's kind of unrealistic. He was already sickly, right?
It depends on where he was shot. It really depends.
Like, he was a very sickly kid, very skinny.
It really depends on where he was shot.
Yeah. So, and then that caused a whole thing where Peggy became the new super soldier, and yeah, she became all nice and muscular, and it was
yeah,
really
I
cool.
thought it was a great episode. I thought it was beautifully rendered. I love the style of the animation.
Oh, definitely.
And I thought the story was well written. It was interesting to see a parallel universe, an alternate universe version of Steve Rogers, an alternate, Peggy Carter.
And like, they're saying that this Hulk, this Iron suit, this is like a prototype. They say it's like indestructible? I don't think it's indestructible. Do you?
No, it doesn't have the arc reactor, so it's heavily dependent on the Tazerac or the Tazerac.
Yeah.
It's dependent on the Tazerac for power. So, like when the Red Skull captured Steve Rogers, he removed the Tazerac, and the suit didn't really have any power, and he was able to use traditional electricity to power the suit for only like a few seconds because the suit requires so much power. And so, yeah, I thought it was cool. It was like a different variant. It was like a hybrid between Iron Man and Captain America.
Yeah, but you know what? Like in those days, you know, the
He's like a hybrid between like it's like a World War II Iron Man crossed with a tank.
Yeah, you know, back in those days, technology wasn't that good. It wasn't that good. It will always broke down.
But you had during World War II, you had the Colossus computer, which is the first digital computer. It was used to de-encrypt developed by the British to de-encrypt the Enigma code used by German submarines and German military. And the other thing was you had nuclear weapons and developed during World War II. You had jet aircraft. You had radios. I think the first prototype television didn't come out until like 1947 or something. But yeah, you had technology back then. Yeah, it's not as sophisticated. Things evolve.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
And sometimes things de-evolve.
Yeah, unfortunately, some things de-evolve. Yeah. So,
but yeah, we got about 8 minutes left. So
it's like, so I can't wait for the next episode. So at the end of the episode, like, okay, so like Red Skull called something from like another dimension to come, and it came out of a portal, and it grabbed Red Skull and crushed him, and then
I thought it was funny that the monster that he brought through a portal, an interdimensional portal, he ended up being the victim of his own creation, so to speak, or his own development.
I guess you can call it poetic justice.
Yeah.
And then Peggy Carter killed it. Well, I don't know if she killed it, but remember
when she followed it into the rift.
Yeah.
And then she ended up like 70 years in the future.
Yeah. And I'm like, dude, you walk into a portal, you don't know where it leads. For all you know, it could lead into open space. And she just walks through and she doesn't even know what's through.
Well, she was trying to stop the creature.
I know, but like, wow, I don't know if I would do that, because like I need to know where I'm going, right? Everyone needs to know where they're going.
Yeah.
But you know what? Like now she's like 70 years in the future, and
I don't know. Are they going to do a follow-up to that storyline? I know. From what I understand, episode 2 is a totally different storyline. That's an alternate version of Star-Lord.
Yeah, but you know, it's like
the king of Wakanda ends up becoming Star-Lord.
Yeah, and so he ends up being Star-Lord, and Michael B. Jordan's character ends up being the king of Wakanda. So it's really interesting. And then all these people get gathered up by the Watcher to become the Guardians of the Multiverse or something. And apparently this is canon.
What movie was that where we saw the Watchers at the end credit scene with Stan Lee?
Oh, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I was surprised at that.
So, like, you know what? It's really cool. It's like, okay, so this is going to be canon. It's going to connect to Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And I hear that it's possible that we could get Peggy Carter movies. No, I mean, Captain Carter movies in the MCU.
Possibly. We shall see. The movie business has not been doing very well. You know, if you look at like Suicide Squad bombed pretty badly. Black Widow bombed. Granted, Suicide Squad and Black Widow, those movies were made before COVID was even a thing. But in this new COVID universe that we live in, that seems to be never ending in sight, because the virus continues to mutate and continues to spread and continues to kill more people. It's it's made people less likely to go to the movies and more likely to stream it at home. But yes, I don't know what the future will be. I know like Free Guy is the #1 movie now. Suicide Squad fell like 70%. And that movie had like a $200 million budget. So it effectively has bombed. And I doubt you'll see any more Suicide Squad movies in the future.
Yeah. Yeah, I was kind of hoping for a Suicide Squad 3. They were saying that Suicide Squad 3 was going to be like Suicide Squad versus Justice League or Superman or something.
I know that the second Suicide Squad movie, there was also confusion in the marketing. Was it a reboot? Sometimes it felt like it was a total reboot. Or was it because there was hardly any of the original characters except for Harley Quinn and Boomerang? You know, it's like, where was Deadshot? You know, and
Well, they wanted
so
to get Deadshot, but Will Smith had some other plans.
yeah, I know that critically it was well received by a lot of fans. They said it was better than the first one, but you know, domestically it's bombed. And I know James Gunn is supposed to move back to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, so we shall see where it goes from there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think you're gonna. I mean, I had mixed feelings at the movie. I thought it was gross and gratuitous violence for no reason, just for humor. And I don't know. I didn't really like most of the characters. It was okay, but I would give it a 5 on a scale of 1 to 10. But I just wasn't really that impressed with it. I wasn't really that big of a fan of Suicide Squad anyway. I didn't really think the first movie was that great. So it is what it is. I think if it hadn't been for COVID, it would have done a lot better.
Yeah, definitely.
But we only got about 3 minutes left. Do you have any last thoughts or anything else you want to talk about these last 3 minutes, Daniel?
Like, didn't we talk about Adam West killing? We talked about Adam West killing the Joker in his universe.
No, we talked about that off camera. But where did you read about that?
Oh, I gave it to you in the comics, in the Batman 66 comics that continue the story of Batman 66. Adam West Batman killed Cesar Romero's Joker, apparently.
Okay. You sent me a picture of a Batman poster. What is that?
Sure.
Oh, you sent me YouTube.
Yeah.
I'll check it out later. I'll take your word for it.
I mean, that is like fascinating. You never think that Adam West Batman would kill anybody.
Well, technically, it wasn't Adam West Batman. It was just a comic book.
And apparently, it seems that Wonder Woman 77 is in that universe too. And I'm like, really? That's just they're gonna put that Wonder Woman in that universe? I don't know. I mean, that's interesting.
Is that the Linda Carter Wonder Woman?
Yeah, yeah, it's Linda Carter.
Cool.
But I don't know. I was kind of hoping that maybe you know what? Maybe in the Flashpoint movie, we'll find out that Linda Carter's Wonder Woman is in the Tim Burton universe. That'd be kind of cool. But they have to actually.
Who knows?
I hope they actually explain a lot. I am getting more and more excited each day for the Flash movie. There's so many actors in this movie that they won't even tell us.
I don't know. It sounds like a bunch of cameos. It's not gonna really amount to much. And I don't really care about Batman and Robin universe. I really don't. But all right.
You didn't like
I haven't seen a single DC movie that I like. I didn't like any of the Suicide Squad movies. I didn't like Batman v Superman. I didn't like Man of Steel. I didn't like Justice League. So I haven't seen a single movie. But anyway, we got to wrap up. Time is up. But thank you very much, Daniel, for joining me. This is Steampunk StarRaisin of AverStreet.com, and this is The world is a mess, and I just want to steampunk it. Episode 33. So you have a nice day, and I will see you 25 billion years. I will.
Bye.